Hello, this is Dias and a new author's story from my channel Russian Revenge Story. Mikhail stared thoughtfully at the monitor. His restaurant was only a month old, and he still had no opportunity to hire real security or a security service. Of course, he knew perfectly well that employees could cause harm, some more, some less. People often steal. The reasons for this are different. But he could not allow something to go wrong in his restaurant because of this. Mikhail had been collecting money for more than 1 year at his opening, and now, when everything was going even better than he had planned, he watched his dishwasher drag a large bag to the exit. And it had only been 3 days since he had installed the cameras, so she had been dragging it like that for a whole month. He stood up resolutely. Theft had to be nipped in the bud. It was strange, of course. The girl was very young, and it didn't look like she was, but apparently she hid her true face very skillfully. In half an hour, the restaurant closes. The dishwasher and the administrator are the last to leave. By the way, the dishwasher leaves through another door, which the administrator then closes. That door can't be opened from the outside, which explains why the administrator doesn't know. He just doesn't see the worker out. Everything is working out so well for the dishwasher. He'll be there just in time. Mikhail lived literally 3 crossroads from his restaurant. It's about 5 minutes by car. He drove up, turned off the headlights, and started waiting. The same dishwasher was supposed to show up any minute. Valia carefully adjusted the baby's cap. Well, that's all for today. My girl behaved well. Be patient for a little while. Mom will walk a little bit and pull you out. Valia checked everything again. The holes made in the bag for air are not closed. Angelina is comfortable. Valia fed her half an hour ago, which means the baby will sleep soundly. She understood perfectly well that this was not right, that if anyone found out, Valia would simply take her daughter away. But there was no other way. Valia's milk disappeared immediately. The formula cost so much that child benefits were only enough for a week, and then there were diapers and utilities. The girl did not know what to do, and then she learned about the opening of a new restaurant and about recruiting staff. When she came to the interview, she still did not know how she would be able to fulfill her duties. She really needed a job, but her neighbor warned her that she could babysit Jella no more than twice a week. In exchange, Valia would clean her apartment. When Valentina saw the place where she would work and realized that the dishwasher would be alone for now, a plan was born in her head. It was so unrealistic, so dangerous, that Valia was even confused, and then she tried it. Jella was only a month old when Valia came to work with her for the first time. Her baby was so calm that she lay quietly and slept in the utility room where there was a supply of dishes. There was plenty of space there, light too, and Valia kept it clean. Valentina lost her parents when she was still a child. She lived with her grandmother. Her grandmother was a romantic nature. Things like everyday life did not interest the old lady at all. From the age of 10, Valia herself ran all the affairs of the house. Andrei conquered her immediately. She did not fall in love, she went crazy. Granny had been gone for a year at that time. The girl immediately invited Andrei to move in with her. He agreed, however, as soon as he found out that Valia was pregnant. He immediately disappeared, taking with him the few valuables that were in the apartment. Valia did not go to the police. She was so ashamed that she tried not to go outside at all. She almost coped, and everything would have been fine if those people had not come to her. They wanted her to sell them the apartment. The girl had no intention of selling anything, and they said that she could accidentally be hit by a car on the street, and then her child would be left an orphan. That same day, The milk disappeared completely. That's when Valia realized that the real trials were beginning. Work became a salvation. They paid her every week. She didn't have to think about food, and that they had enough for everything. Valia tried not to think about what would happen when Angelina turned 3 or 4 months old. She was strong, she was smart, she could handle it. Although lately Valia had doubts that she was strong and smart. Valia carefully put her bag down, closed the door, turned around, and found herself nose to nose with the restaurant owner. Ouch, ouch, he mimicked her. Show me what you're carrying in your bag. No restaurant could stand stealing that much. Valia blocked the bag with her body. I've never stolen anything. Aren't you ashamed? Am I the one who should be ashamed? Not you? He laughed, then became serious. Show me what you're carrying in your bag, or I'll call the police. Valia sighed. There was nothing to do, especially since Angelina had started rummaging around in her bag. She sat down and opened the bag. Mikhail gasped. A child? Where did it come from? Is it yours? Do you work with a child? Meanwhile, Valia had taken Angelina out into her arms. Am I fired? Wait, what are you saying right now? Let me give you a ride. Do you live far away? No, just around the corner. Well, then I'll walk you there. Bring that damn bag here already. Mikhail understood perfectly well that Valia wasn't dragging such a tiny thing to work because she had a good life. He himself had gone through a difficult life with alcoholic parents. If he hadn't been taken away from them, who knows, maybe he would have become like them. They reached the house, but Misha had no intention of leaving. He went up to the right floor with Valia, and when the girl looked at him meaningfully, he said, I'd like a cup of tea. Valia shrugged. She didn't mind the tea. She couldn't really send him away. What if? Although no, he wouldn't let her work with the child anyway. She quickly changed Angelina's clothes, made her some formula, just to make her fall asleep. She had just eaten. And then she went out to the kitchen, where Mikhail was already making tea. He looked at her cheerfully. I did some housework here. Valia sat down and realized how tired she was, not even physically but mentally. All this tension. Will they recognize her or not? Will they kick her out or not? She herself didn't realize how she suddenly burst into tears, not knowing what to do now. Misha sat down opposite her, pushed the mug towards her. Well, now tell me. What? She looked at him in surprise. From the very beginning, born, studied, and so on, in order. Valia spoke. She told the story, occasionally sipping tea. She spoke and understood how unhappy she was. Everything was not like everyone else's. Everything was a mess. And why? She didn't know the answer. Misha, while she was telling the story, did not look at her. He himself wanted to cry, because he had experienced the injustice of life to the fullest. So, here's how it is. Stay home for a couple of days. I'll call someone, and in 2 days we need to come up with something. We? Well, I can't leave you in such a situation, especially since you washed the dishes well. Okay, I'll go. Good night. He quickly got up and left. Valia didn't even have time to thank him. She sat for a little while longer and went to lock the door. There were several large bills on the nightstand in the hallway. Valia leaned against the wall and started crying again. The next day, she had to change one bill after all. Angelina had a fever. The doctor they called prescribed medications and vitamins. The young mother had no choice but to quickly run to the pharmacy while Angelina was sleeping. Fortunately, She only had to get to the neighboring house. When she returned, she had barely closed the door behind her when someone rang the doorbell. Her heart pounded. She decided it was Mikhail. Valia quickly glanced in the mirror, opened the door and immediately tried to close it. But the young man's leg, who was smiling at her insolently, got in the way. "Well, hello, lonely mommy. Why are you so bad at greeting guests?" He pushed her aside and entered the apartment. A man and a girl came with him. They sat down at the table like they owned the place. The girl began to lay out some papers. "Well, have you thought about it?" "I have. Get out of here, or I'll call the police." "Okay, call them, and we'll see. Just keep in mind that you and the police are signing your own death warrant. Think about the child." Valia choked with indignation. "Who are you, and what do you want? I'm not going to sell any apartment." "You will. It's just that with each day of your persistence, your apartment becomes cheaper for you. So, the sooner you agree, the more money you'll get." The young man named the amount. Valia laughed, although she was very scared. "Are you kidding? That's the cost of a bathroom." He grinned. "In a couple of days, you'll agree anyway, only you'll get even less. Get out, I'm not going to sell anything." He moved toward her. Valia shrank, but then the young man jumped up in a strange way and fell to the floor. Mikhail was standing behind him. He turned to those sitting at the table. "Should I explain to anyone else that the apartment is not for sale?" The guests quickly disappeared, and Mikhail turned to her. "Why didn't you tell me anything about them? I didn't know they would come again." Valia looked so scared, his heart sank. So tender, so defenseless. "Get ready." "Where to?" "Where you need to go." He said it so abruptly that Valia immediately burst into tears. "Sorry, come to my place. I'm hardly ever home anyway, and it will be safer for you there for now. The devil knows what kind of crap they'll throw out." Valia obediently went to pack her things. 15 minutes later they were leaving the apartment. A neighbor looked out onto the landing. "Val, has Dad shown up? Does this mean I don't have to sit with Angelinka anymore, and you won't come to clean anymore?" Misha smiled at her tenderly, very tenderly, baring his snow-white teeth. "That's right. Thank you for your help." The neighbor slammed the door shut in fear. "He's not a man, he's some kind of beast. Valechka never learns from her mistakes. She got involved with him again." She waved her hand. "And what's left for her, poor thing, with no money and a child? A mangy sheep can get at least a tuft of wool." Valentina looked at the large apartment. "It's beautiful here." "That's now. You should have seen it when you first bought it. Just the walls, all knocked down and rebuilt. That'll be your room." He opened the door. Valia noticed a man's robe and slippers. "So this is your room, right? Don't say hello to me, not at work. It's big and warm. So you live here and I'll move to that one." He pointed to the door on the other side. "It's kind of uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to sleep on the ceiling. Make yourself comfortable. I'll be back soon." Misha went somewhere. Valia unpacked her things, then went to the kitchen to drink some water. There was a pile of dirty mugs in the sink. It looked like Mikhail only drank coffee at home. She washed the dishes and looked in the fridge. An hour later, cutlets were already simmering on the stove, potatoes were boiling in a saucepan, and Valia was chopping up a salad, smiling at Angelina, who was lying on the kitchen sofa, propped up with pillows. The door slammed. A sweaty Mikhail stumbled into the kitchen. He sniffed. "Wow, I'm so hungry. Let's go eat quickly." Valia grabbed Angelina in her arms and followed him. In the hallway there was a brand new crib and a stroller, and in the crib there were several more bags, probably with clothes. "Oh, what are you saying? I don't have that kind of money. I don't know when I'll be able to give it back." Misha smiled. "Well, I'm not asking you to give it back." After dinner, Valya and Misha started rearranging the furniture. Misha was fooling around, and Valya was laughing. Even Angelina, who was lying on the big bed, was trying to mumble something in her own language. Valya didn't sleep that night. Mikhail didn't sleep either. He suddenly realized that he felt so good now. He wasn't alone in the house. Misha raised himself on his elbow. After all, some time would pass, and Valya would want to go back to her own place. That's how she is. She doesn't want what's not hers, and he understood perfectly well that he didn't want her to leave. In the morning at breakfast, Misha casually said, "We need to get married." The knife fell out of Valya's hands and bounced loudly on the floor. "What?" I said, "We need to get married. Angelinka needs a father, and you need protection. You're not coping well on your own." Valya looked at him with huge eyes. I never thought that proposals like this could happen. Misha put down his fork and looked at her. But what could he say to her? That in one day he fell in love, like an idiot, with a woman with a child who washed dishes in his restaurant? He tried to find the right words, but Valya suddenly reached across the table and kissed him softly and tenderly. Mikhail felt as if he had been struck by electricity. He pushed her away from him and took the phone. "Can you handle it without me? I have personal matters. Don't expect me at work today. Oh yeah, find a new dishwasher. Valya quit." If you liked the story, please support me with a like. And to learn about the release of new, interesting stories, subscribe to my channel. All the best to you. Thank you for watching.